Hey traders, this is Jack and welcome to your new Thursday update. Let's dig into what happened today and how this might reflect on tomorrow. On your screen you can see the S&Ps and the NASDAQ in the top right, and you can see things just kind of fell apart. There was a really interesting moment this morning where the advanced decline, which is something we kind of look at to start gauging the temperature of the stock market for the day, and they started to really go negative. At least all the market internals did, and you can kind of see a good example of what happens whenever an advanced decline starts out in the beginning of the day around 8:30 at kind of neutral, and then what it turned into was just a big selling event, but it broke through a bunch of key levels. Now this was a great intraday short to take, don't get me wrong, that's what we focused on today in the futures room. But what does it mean for tonight in overnight futures, and what could it mean for Friday tomorrow? And I know that that's important, but now what's really important is what's going to happen next week whenever we get a lot of really interesting numbers. Plus, at the end of this month, on the 22nd, whenever we get, the rate hike, what's going to happen then? So it's kind of interesting where we sit right now, because next week could just be really volatile, and volatility has created at least some bullish structure in the future. So that's maybe something we can look forward to. However, the move was so strong today that we're under a key level on the S&Ps, which is 3950. But even more so, we are now kind of below the daily time frame inflection point of the 200 and the 100, the light blue and the dark blue lines right here on the left hand side. And so could that mean that we're just going to fall apart and go back down to 300? You know what? It's very possible, and this is a pretty large quick pivot, just structurally from what we've been expecting. And I'm curious to see what happens in overnight futures tonight. If we are going to retrace, it's more than likely then we'd be looking for a little bit of a move back up to 39.50. But we'll see what happens. It's an interesting kind of a move. And I say that for many reasons, and that's what we're going to do in this video, is talk about those reasons. And everything goes back to the dollar. As far as like correlations and, hey, how do equities move versus whenever the dollar moves, the dollar was only down less than 0.5% today. So it's kind of an interesting point. Whenever you look at the dollar, sometimes it can be up 1.5% or 2%. That starts to put some overweight on the S&P. It starts to make it a little bit more of a struggle to get back above 4,000. Which is, back in the day whenever the dollar was at 103 and 104. And now we've kind of gapped up and we're holding here. And so the takeaway from this video, what I want it to be, is keep an open mind for new volatility next week. I feel like we might be coming out of a stage of that implosion of volatility that we've had. And now it's kind of like, all right, the market's got to make a decision. It kind of did make one today. But if this falls apart tomorrow, then it might be a continuation of all of that next week. And so I've got to admit to you, today's move was a great intraday short, but at the same time, it totally throws a wrench in my long-term idea and plan for us to be kind of revisiting 4150 by the end of March. Not saying it's impossible, but a lot hinges on tomorrow and how we open up next week. Now, I'll draw you one more thing. I think it's kind of interesting. I'm a big fan of Fibonacci. And anything that's really kind of written in the natural laws of science or the laws of the universe where it's not really man-made. I mean, this pattern is in nature, right? So I was looking for a 618 retrace from the lows that we put in December, and we're really flirting with it right now. So 39.48, 39.50, that's been a big level, and it just so happens to line up with that inflection point of those two really large moving averages, the 200 and the 100. So it's kind of weird that the dollar not really doing too much, and the market kind of fell apart into only the fourth day of the week. We still got to get through Friday tomorrow. But it'll be interesting. So my goal on Monday is to really focus on that wide lens, which is, are we below 3,900? Are we above 3,950? And again, if we're above, then I think that's good enough reason to kind of stick it to the bears here and see if we can get a little bit of an end of March rally or going into that interest rate hike rally, because it might also be where on the 22nd, we might just rally into the 22nd, and after that, it's kind of like sell the news situation. But I've got to say, this has been an interesting day, and it's been a joy to kind of sit back in the futures room and talk you through it. And it seems like just midday, the market kind of changed personality, so it's kind of fun to sit back and watch the market fall apart. So what it means for tomorrow, I think we got to focus on overnight futures. I will see you first thing in the morning if you are in the day trading room. And then, of course, I will see you tomorrow in the futures session where we can talk about all this and more together. And we'll get into our Friday routine and address all the things that we need to talk about for next week. All right, see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching this video. If you've enjoyed the video, be sure to like and comment down below to help us out. Also, be sure to subscribe and click the bell icon so you can get notified when we release our next video. And if you want to watch us trade in real time using our own money, go to simplertrading.com to learn how to sign up. Good trading, and we'll see you in the next video.